Hello my dear students, we once again come back to this online class. So today's topic to be discussed will be change of season as a continuation part from your chapter rotation and revolution. In this section we will discuss about how rotation, in fact how revolution has affected the changes of season. As we can see written that the change of season is one of the major effects of the revolution of the earth. As we know that the earth goes around the sun, while it moves around the sun, the earth is positioned at different location. So this results in the formations of seasons. Now there are four major seasons that we will discuss: winter, summer, autumn and spring. So this to be explained can be done with the help of this diagram. As we can see that the earth is positioned at four different locations considering its major positions in respect to the sun. While we also need to maintain and understand while we draw this diagram that the axis is inclined towards the same direction. The axis does not changes in different direction. It has to remain towards the same direction, inclined, and this is to what we call parallelism of axis. That means the axis should stand parallel to each other while the earth is being positioned at different locations in respect to the sun. This we see here, I have written it here summer. So now we will discuss in details about the summer. We will discuss obviously one by one each of them in details. So this is summer. Almost after 3 months of interval, the sun moves on to a different position. In fact, the earth moves to a different position in respect to the sun, where we experience autumn after summer. After autumn, almost a time interval of 3 months after, we experience winter, and then likewise after 3 months of winter we experience spring. So this way the earth continuously moves around the sun every year. We also need to make note of a point that the earth is divided by the equatorial line, that is 0 degree, into northern and southern hemisphere. While being divided into north and the south, we need to understand that the seasons is not the same in northern hemisphere and southern hemisphere. Whatever we experience in north is exactly opposite to that in the south. For instance, now we see India is completely located in northern hemisphere and we are experiencing summer season now. While at this very time of the year, the southern hemisphere they experiences winter season. Now taking one each diagram from this positions in respect to the sun, let us discuss in details. We first go with the summer season as summer solstice. At this point of time, we get to see that the northern portion of the globe is inclined towards the sun, while the southern portion has moved a little away from the sun. So this happens on 21st of June, that the sun is at its overhead position at Tropic of Cancer, that is 23.5 degree. So if you can see this line is 23.5 degree, this over this line the sun remains at its overhead position during this time of the year. On this date, the northern hemisphere experiences the longest day and shortest night of the year, while southern hemisphere they experiences longest night and shortest day of the year. So in that case, what we understand is the northern portion of the globe is experiencing summer season, while the southern part experiences winter season. So the summer solstice for north is the winter solstice for south. So this diagram shows about the summer solstice, the inclination of the axis towards the sun. The major part of the northern globe is facing towards the sun, while southern part is facing away from the sun. So in this case, the north, as it receives the vertical rays of the sun, the daylight here, it seems to be higher than the daylight as compared to in the south. So if you see the circle of illumination, the line that demarcates day and night, if you see this line, you see the major portion of the northern part is facing a daylight. So that is why we say that northern part at this time of the year has longer days and the nights are short. while in southern hemisphere nights are long and days are short. In this context, what we get to understand is that the polar regions in either of the hemisphere, we see one in the north is completely facing towards the sun. So as the earth rotates, this part, the northern pole, experiences 24 hours of daylight, while the southern poles experiences 24 hours darkness, and this carries on until 6 months. So now winter solstice, if you see, at this place, what we get to understand now is, let us have the sun placed at this point, because the earth moves around the sun. So the earth has changed its position from, it is what we see here is, the sun here is now moved towards the left because the earth is moving around the sun. So in this respect, what happens is, you see the axis here is inclined away from the sun for the northern globe, while in the southern part, you see the axis is facing towards the sun. So winter solstice, what happens is, it usually occurs on 22nd of December, the winter solstice, which experiences an overhead position of the sun over Tropic of Capricorn, that is 23.5 degrees south. So coming to Tropic of Capricorn, when the sun is overhead or lying overhead at this latitude, the major part of southern hemisphere experiences the vertical rays of the sun, while that in the north, what we get to see is they are mostly facing the slanted rays of the sun. So this is the reason why in the north we happen to experience the winter season. Though, like discussed in this very chapter regarding ephelion and perihelion, this is a time of experiencing perihelion. That means the earth has come very close to the sun, but yet we in northern hemisphere experience winter season because of the axis inclined away from the sun. So during this time of the year, what we experience is that the northern hemisphere on this particular day, that is 22nd of December, experiences the shortest day and the longest night of the year, while in southern hemispheres, what we get to see is that they experience the longest day and shortest night of, the southern hemisphere now here experiences summer season, so they will be experiencing the longest day and shortest night of the year. In short, what we can say is, southern hemisphere will have longer days and the nights will be short, while in the northern hemisphere, the days are short and nights are long. This even practically we experience during winter season here, that we see winters, the nights are longer and the days are short. So this is what it happens during the winter solstice. At this very time of the year, the northern pole now, if we see, and since it's inclined away from the sun, it happens to experience a darkness for almost 24 hours, while southern pole, it happens to face the sun. So it experiences daylight for another 24 hours continuously. And this phenomena continues for another 6 months until they again come back to the summer season. In between this winters and summer season, we have equinoxes to understand. On two of the occasions, the earth, in fact, we on earth experience equinoxes. Equinox is a Latin term, equus, which means equal, and nox means night. So that means, what it means is, whenever we experience this equinox, we experience equal day and equal night throughout the globe. Why it so happens is because at this point of time, the earth, in respect to the sun, what we see is the sun lies an overhead position of the equator, that is 0 degree, and this is experienced on two of the occasions, 21st of March and 23rd of September. During these 2 days, 21st of March and 23rd of September, we on earth experience equal day and equal night, irrespective of the hemisphere that we are located. That means either in northern hemisphere or in southern hemisphere, wherever you are, you experience equal days and equal nights. So what happens on this particular time, even 21st of March and 23rd of September, is as already discussed, that whatever we experience in the northern hemisphere is not the same in southern hemisphere. So on this point, the 21st of March is experienced as spring or vernal equinox in northern hemisphere, NH as abbreviated, and it is an autumnal equinox for southern hemisphere. While 23rd of September, here on the northern hemisphere we experience spring or vernal equinox, while southern hemisphere they experience autumnal equinox.